Hello everyone and welcome back to Scandinavian Design 101. I'm Sanna.
I'm Andreas, and we are two Swedes, and we love modern design and all kind of design.
We do.
And today we're going to talk about the designer behind some of the most iconic modernist furniture, Poul Kjaerholm. He stands out from most other Danish designers at the time with his clean, simple lines made from metal, glass and leather.
Poul Kjaerholm was born on the 8th of January in 1929 in a small town in the northern part of Denmark.
Yeah.
Already at the age of 15, he got an apprenticeship that lasted for 5 years at a cabinet maker called T.H. Grönbäck.
Ja.
Meanwhile, he also studied at a technical school. These experiences gave him a great appreciation of materials and how to refine them with different tools. The first lesson of being a cabinet maker was that the finished product will never be better than the raw material, and it's also a direct result of the tools being used to shape it. The studies also gave him an understanding of furniture design as a process. While designing, Kjaerholm would always strive for clean constructions where shape, materials and means of construction becomes one. At the age of 20 in 1949, he moved to Copenhagen and enrolled at the furniture department at the Royal Academy of Fine Arts. He soon got to be taught by the one and only Hans J Wegner, and how much he influenced the young Kjaerholm is of course impossible to say, but probably a lot.
Yeah.
Wegner took an interest in Kjaerholm and let him work part-time in his design studio.
Yeah.
In 1952, he graduated and became a cabinet maker. To graduate, he had to produce a piece of furniture of artistic merit that could be considered technically sound. The result was his first masterpiece. At the graduation, he exhibited the chair later called PK25. It was constructed from a single piece of steel, cut and then bent into shape. The upholstery was halyard, is that how you say it?
I think so, halyard.
Halyard. Giving the chair an almost transparent impression. And it was without a doubt inspired by the flag halyard chair by Wegner 2 years earlier.
Yeah, they are a bit similar.
The separation between the bearing structure and the born structure is highly apparent, and that's something that will come to characterize many of Kjaerholm's furniture throughout his career.
Yeah. And Fritz Hansen, the chief of furniture company Fritz Hansen, was highly impressed by this PK25 chair and soon hired Kjaerholm. And at Fritz Hansen, he started experimenting with bent wood constructions. But none of his prototypes was chosen for mass production. And Kjaerholm had developed the shell chair, nowadays called PK0, you can see it here, and inspired by the works by American designers Charles and Ray Eames, quite similar to their chairs. But Fritz Hansen, who fully focused on Arne Jacobsen and his three-legged ant chair, decided not to produce it, and that made Kjaerholm quite angry, quite pissed off. So his time at Fritz Hansen would come to be very short. But when leaving the company, he brought the chair prototype with him, eager to show it to other furniture companies. But the PK0 wouldn't come to be produced until 1997, and then, ironically enough, by Fritz Hansen, the company that originally rejected it.
After leaving Fritz Hansen, he used the following years to develop the idea of cheap and durable furniture suitable for industrial production. In 1953, he started a collaboration with the company Chris Sørensen, for whom he developed several different lightweight aluminum chair ideas. And it was an experimental period for Kjaerholm, and this led to a huge pile of sketches and ideas. But most of the furniture remained prototypes.
Yeah.
Only one of them came to be produced, and only in a small series of about 20 shell shares, and that was it. Even though the practical results was far from great, his ambitions at the company was still very high. Kjaerholm designed a logo combining the initials of Sørensen and Kjaerholm, a direct symbol that he aimed to be partner in the firm. And so he did, but the partnership didn't last long. In 1955, Sørensen fled the country, leaving Kjaerholm a letter in which he declared that he wouldn't pay any royalties for those 20 shell shares, and he didn't consider his shares suitable for either the Danish nor American market. And this setback was, of course, a hard blow for the young designer, but all of his hard work would soon pay off.
Yes, because in 1955 he came in contact with the entrepreneur Eivind Kold Christensen, a man who earlier had convinced Wegner to design furniture for mass production with the convincing words, "There is no way you can earn a living from setting up one exhibition once a year. Your things would be better off in the factories." Soon also Kjaerholm started a collaboration, and together they started a company, Kold Christensen, with the purpose of distributing Kjaerholm's designs. The collaboration would come to result in all the furniture we today associate with Kjaerholm. And the production took place at different subcontractors who made the different elements, then assembled to finish furniture at the Kold showroom. The main component was steel, and that was mainly for practical reasons. Steel turned out to be the best material to use when producing different parts in factories, because they could be assembled with only bolts and nuts. They didn't have to glue them together or anything like that. And also, according to Kjaerholm, steel had the same artistic merit as wood, and he loved the way the light reflected in its surface. He always preferred using matte-finished steel, mainly because of its appearance and ability to age with grace. And for the same reason, Kjaerholm preferred leather upholstery. Textile was, according to him, not a suitable material for furniture upholstery because it doesn't age beautifully. And I agree.
Me too.
Nevertheless, he sometimes used canvas, but he preferred natural-colored leather delivered by the exclusive Danish leather supplier Dominion Belting. And the upholstery work was then performed by master upholsterer Ivan Schlechter.
Kjaerholm spent a lot of his time thinking about how to assemble the furniture in the best possible way. And after doing his research, he found an American screw designed for the industry already in 1910. It was originally meant to be used in heavy machinery and was quite big and rough looking. It was called the Allen screw, and it turned out to be perfect for the task. By using this method of assembly, no costly or time-consuming welding was needed. The screws also worked as decorative elements, giving the furniture an industrial look. So the result was strong yet clean and simple. The screws were perfect for mounting metal parts together, but Kjaerholm soon realized that another method was needed to mount wooden parts to the metal frame. For this purpose, he came up with the idea of using rubber rings holding the wooden parts tight to the metal and still letting them to move, which prevented the wood from breaking.
Yeah. And the production with Kold started already in 1955, and Kjaerholm was, of course, full of ideas. And suddenly he had not just a wealthy companion, but more important, a company that was willing to distribute his furniture. And first out, released already in 1956, was a series of minimalist tables with tubular steel legs and some chairs with halyard seat. And they are not among his most known designs today, but soon classics like the PK22 chair and the lounge table PK61 was released, and they are still today two of Kjaerholm's most popular pieces of furniture. He was highly impressed by the works by Mies van der Rohe and Lili Reich, so he was indeed inspired by their 1920s furniture, and it is interesting to compare furniture by Mies and Reich with some of the furniture by Kjaerholm. And none of the furniture were given names, only model numbers. And this was something Kjaerholm also borrowed from predecessors like Mies and Reich. And we won't really talk in detail about the different pieces of furniture, but we will show you a video now showing you some of the furniture at least. In 1965, Kjaerholm was commissioned to design the furniture for the John F. Kennedy Center for Performing Art, which was about to be built in Washington. And together with a colleague Nils Fagerholt, he developed a sofa constructed of laminated wood shell, leather cushions and steel legs. But due to high cost, the project was sadly cancelled. But 4 years later, the drawings were used as an inspiration for his new lounge chair, the PK27. And it had the same bentwood shell as the sofa, but the legs were made from laminated wood instead of metal. And this is one of only 3 chairs made by Kjaerholm that are all wooden.
Kjaerholm continued developing his furniture, sketching on the PK8 dining chair and the PK65 low table at the end of the 70s, but his health was suffering. Kjaerholm was only 51 years old when he died from lung cancer on the 18th of April in 1980. And after his death, the rights to produce his furniture were sold to Fritz Hansen, who started their production in 82. And still today they are producing several of his classic designs, and it's a bit ironic that it's the company that rejected him way back then, but that's life.
That's life. And back in the days, Kjaerholm was often accused of producing too expensive furniture. And this was a problem for Kjaerholm, who promoted mass production and standardization, but he refused to compromise with quality, and letting the best carpenters, blacksmiths and upholsterers work with the best materials was costly. Kjaerholm himself believed that the prices would go down in the future when new technologies would make the production cheaper, but as we all know, sadly, this never happened. The leather version of the PK22 is today about $4,500, and if you want to buy the PK31 three-seat sofa, you need about $45,000, so it's very expensive. But the prices at auction are more reasonable, and it's not hard to find old Kjaerholm furniture for much less. And according to many collectors, the only real Kjaerholm furniture is the ones produced by Ekhold.
Do you agree?
Yeah, perhaps. At least they were produced during his lifetime. And that's, I would prefer buying an old sofa when I can get it even cheaper than buying a new one from Fritz Hansen today. Yeah. And my favorite piece of design by Kjaerholm is the PK9 side chair.
Mine too.
Yeah, it's very nice. It's a kind of Kjaerholm version of the tulip chair by Saarinen. And the seat is really graceful. It's not a cheap chair, new from Fritz Hansen. It's about $5,000 a piece, and that will be expensive if you want 4 or 6 chairs for your dining room.
Very.
And they can, from time to time, be found on auction, sold for between $1,000 or $2,000. So that's much better.
Much better.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
That was our introduction to Poul Kjaerholm.
Yes.
Hope you learned something new today and that you enjoyed it.
Yeah, if you liked the episode, you click thumbs up.
And subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. And if you like Scandinavian design as much as we do, please follow us on Instagram. We are called Scandinavian Design 101, and we have daily posts about Scandinavian and modern design.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks.